baby deaths. The drugs and therapy that are given to these mental health patients in the name of treatment and help is actually the complete opposite, with the help of which the brain chemistry of these persons is messed up so badly that they simply do not understand what they are doing when they drown their children, who are put in Finnish courts running on cone elevator money in the name of medically non-existent and imaginary diseases, even though the reason is psychiatry's chemical compounds that confuse and destroy brain functions. This treatment, which is mental violence and medicinal forms of torture straight from Auschwitz, is to make these victims of psychiatry commit suicide and other acts that shock society, such as school killings and these drownings of children to which these mothers have also been drugged, and which is a masterpiece of the operation of psychiatry with these actions and what we see in the connection with these Finnish baby deaths. How these mothers have been drugged to kill their own children. These mothers have been successfully tricked into believing in postpartum depression, with the help of which they are taken to psychiatric clinics, where these mothers are fed drugs that reduce brain function, and with massive mental violence and manipulation, they are even made to drown their own children, which of course they regret when they survive the effects of the drugs. In Finland, these cases almost automatically go to the state mental hospital with insanity judgment to serve the coalition's brick and mortar business, i.e. the human rat business of medicine, thanks to which Finland gets the world's best and most expensive fighter jets from the United States at the world's cheapest price. These mothers who killed their own children are of course the best human rats in medicine, because no one can live without drugs after the deaths of your own children like this, and who just tells you how sick politics this Finnish blue coalition is practicing, who owns these state human rat farms, which it runs, surprise surprise, Kari Ohala, a municipal politician of the coalition from Kuopio, where this shocking baby death happened. If we take into consideration the case of Hauki Pudas, where the mother could not even realize that she had drowned her child, it only means how confused she is by these drugs, which are closer to rat poison than alcohol, under the influence of which even people who are drunk kill others for insignificant reasons. I don't see any reason for this extensive official activity other than that a new witch hunt is being raised for this mental health problem in democratic states, with the help of which the state authorities can eliminate bad individuals from their own point of view and engage in the same racial politics as Nazi Hitler, however, in such a way that this also includes financial cover. Why these death sentences for these children are put into practice through these mothers by drugging them, who are then collected in state mental hospitals as human rats for medicine. Burn of Tammela.
Täällä Forssan lähellä Tammelassa tapahtui perhesurman yritys helmikuussa 2017.
Perheen äiti yritti tappaa 3 lastaan ja itsensä sytyttämällä tuolla paikalla olleen omakotitalon tuleen. Nukkumassa olleet lapset heräsivät savuun ja tulipalon ääniin.
Jutun tutkinnassa tuli ilmi seikkoja, joiden takia poliisi tutki aluksi tekoa murhan yrityksinä. Hätäkeskus sai 20. helmikuuta 2017 kello 6.25 ilmoituksen, jonka mukaan Tammelassa paloi 200-neliöinen omakotitalo. Soittaja oli perheen vanhin poika. Useita pelastuslaitoksen yksiköitä lähti heti paikalle ja perillä selvisi, että talo oli ilmiliekeissä. Asukkaat olivat jo päässeet pihalle. Perheen lapset, 17-vuotias poika ja 11- ja 13-vuotiaat tytöt olivat olleet nukkumassa huoneissaan, kun he heräsivät tulipaloon. 2 lapsista nukkui talon yläkerrassa ja 1 alakerrassa. Isoveli auttoi kummatkin siskonsa ulos talosta ja palasi sen jälkeen alakertaan pelastamaan äitinsä.
He soitti, kun he oli vielä siellä talossa ja sitten sitten siellä parvekkeella. Et hätäkeskuspuhelu oli auki siinä vaiheessa, kun he pelastautuivat sieltä. Kyllä siihen varmasti sitä hätää tuli, mutta kuitenkin he pystyivät sen asian esittämään ja kertoo, mitä siellä on tapahtunut ja toimii sen hätäkeskuksen ohjeistuksen mukaisesti. Et sillä lailla niin kun kuitenkin harkittua ja johdonmukaista se heidän toimintansa. Ensimmäisenä sieltä pelastautui perheen 17-vuotias poika, joka oli nukkumassa huoneessaan siellä toisessa kerroksessa ja hän ikkunan kautta pelastautui tämmöiselle terassikatolle ja hyppäsi sieltä sitten alas. Ja hän meni takaisin sinne taloon ja ensimmäisenä niin raahasi täällä alakerrassa niin tuupertuneena olleen äitinsä niin pihalle. Nämä nuoremmat lapset oli sit siinä vaiheessa niin siirtynyt sinne toisen kerroksen parvekkeelle. Ja tämä vanhempi veli sitten niin ohjeisti heitä sieltä alhaalta hyppäämään sieltä parvekkeelta. Siellä oli semmoinen peräkärry siinä parvekkeen alla reunassa, niin hän ohjeisti nämä sisaruksensa hyppään siihen peräkärryn päälle, jotta se pudotus ei olisi niin korkea.
Äiti oli pahiten loukkaantunut, mutta hänenkään vammat eivät olleet hengenvaaralliset.
Hän sitten jonkun verran virkosi siinä, kun poika sai hänet siihen terassille. Mutta ilmeisesti ei oikein ollut tietoinen siinä vaiheessa, että kuka häntä pelastaa tai mikä on tilanne.
Eli tämä vanhin poika toimi tuollaisessa tilanteessa niin erittäin esimerkillisesti ja pystyi pelastamaan käytännössä katsoen kaikki jopa kuolemalta siinä.
No kyllä näin, että hänen toimintansa oli ihan esimerkillistä. Että siinä vaiheessa, kun pelastuslaitoksen ensimmäiset yksiköt saapuivat paikalle, niin heidän käsityksensä oli se, että siinä parvekkeella, missä nämä nuoremmat lapset oli, niin siinä ei enää siinä vaiheessa olisi pystynyt ihminen olemaan.
Pelastajat olivat varautuneet hakemaan ihmisiä palavasta talosta, mutta perillä heille selvisi nopeasti, että kaikki asukkaat olivat päässeet ulos talosta. Palossa kuoli perheen 2 koiraa ja kani.
No ihan aluksi tätä tutkittiin palonsyyn tutkintana, että ajatus lähti sähköpalosta ihan sen takia, että se on se todennäköisin syy. Mutta mitään semmoista selkeää viitettä sähköpalostakaan ei kuitenkaan ollut. Kyllä niin kuin hyvin pian sitten poliisille tuli semmoinen käsitys, että saattaa olla rikos. Kun se palo oli niin raju, niin se herätti kysymyksiä siitä, että onko siellä useampi palopesäke, mistä tämä palo on lähtenyt. Ja sitten viimeistään saman päivän aikana, kun poliisin tutkija kävi puhuttamassa tämän äidin, joka oli joutunut sairaalaan, niin alustavan puhuttelun jälkeen niin tutkijalle jäi sellainen olo, että tässä ei ole kaikki kunnossa, että tämän äidin kertomukset oli hyvin rikkonaiset ja tutkijalle jäi semmoinen vaikutelma, että olosuhteet huomioiden niin hän muistaa liian vähän, eli jättää jotain kertomaan.
At this point, I would like to share my own opinion about the actions of the Finnish police regarding the Tammela fire, and my issue concerns the Finnish police's phenomenal decision-making ability regarding this fire, where they put the mother of the family on the list of accused on the same day the fire started. This phenomenal performance by the Finnish police is too good to be true, because normally in crimes against the authorities, such as murders in healthcare, it does not want to find any criminal activity even though a record number of problem citizens who are expensive to the state die in healthcare clinics, and as an example the murders of Eva Kaiser and Jari Nicola, of which Jari's murder was solved by the children and Eva Kaiser's crime reporter Hannula, from within the 4 walls of course. Drawing such quick conclusions is not part of the working methods of the Finnish police, which inevitably leads to doubt as to whether this woman has been on the police's lists, whose life has had to be pushed down the toilet seat in a lawyer-like dirty manner.
Jo palopäivän iltana poliisi kirjasi asiasta rikosilmoituksen ja käynnisti esitutkinnan. Aluksi tekoa tutkittiin tuhotyönä ja murhan yrityksinä, koska se vaikutti suunnitelmalliselta. Kuulusteluissa perheen äiti ei osannut kertoa palon syttymisestä juuri mitään, vaikka hän oli ollut syttymisen aikaan hereillä. Iso omakotitalo tuhoutui palossa täysin, mutta poliisi sai silti taltioitua palopaikalta teknistä näyttöä.
Tässä pystyttiin tosiaan selvittämään sitä, että se palo on samanaikaisesti lähtenyt useammasta paikasta. Toisaalta taas pystyttiin selvittämään, että niiden palopaikkojen lähellä ei ollut semmoisia sähkölaitteita, mitkä olisi niin kuin sit voinut luonnollisesti aiheuttaa tämän tulipalon. Tämä äiti oli laittanut paperia palaan 3 eri kohtaan siellä alakerrassa ja sitä kautta sitten sytyttänyt muuta materiaalia, joka olisi aika rajustikin lähtenyt paloon.
Perheen isä oli jo lähtenyt aamulla aikaisin töihin muutamia tunteja ennen tulipalon syttymistä. Äiti kuulusteltiin ensimmäisen kerran seuraavana päivänä ja jo tuossa kuulustelussa hän myönsi sytyttäneensä tulipalon tahallaan.
Hän kyllä koko esitutkinnan ajan johdonmukaisesti kiisti sen, että hänellä olisi ollut tarkoitus ketään muuta sillä palolla vahingoittaa kuin itseensä. Motiivina esitti sitten jonkinlaiset parisuhdeongelmat ja taloudelliset ongelmat, jotka sitten oli johtanut siihen, että hän oli päättänyt sitten riistää itseltään hengen.
Äiti tiesi kuitenkin tulipalon sytyttäessään, että kaikki perheen lapset olivat kotona ja nukkumassa.
Hän sitä itsekin niin kuin ihmetteli, että miksi oli päätynyt siihen ratkaisuun, että sytyttää sen palon silloin kun muu perhe on paikalla eikä silloin kun on yksin.
Lapset osasivat kuulusteluissa kertoa tulipalosta ja omasta toiminnastaan johdonmukaisesti. Poliisi ei saanut tutkinnassa näyttöä siitä, että äiti olisi suunnitellut tekoaan pitkään ja yksityiskohtaisesti. Mielentilatutkimuksessa nainen todettiin syyntakeiseksi. Oikeudessa naista syytettiin 3 tapon yrityksestä ja tuhotyöstä, joista hänet myös tuomittiin.
Kyllä tämä niin perheen isällekin tuli varmasti yllätyksenä, että tämmöiseen ratkaisuun oli päädytty, että ei hänkään niin kuin osannut kertoo, että siinä aikaisemmin elämässä olisi ollut sit jotain viitteitä, että näin radikaalia tulee tapahtumaan.
Osoittiko tämä äiti minkälaista katumusta sitten näissä kuulustelussa, kun hän kuitenkin sen teon itsessään myönsi?
No kyllähän osoitti sitä katumista siltä osin, että hän tosiaan koko ajan niin kuin johdonmukaisesti sitä vakuutti, että hänen tarkoituksenaan ei ollut satuttaa ketään muuta kuin itseensä.
No kuinka vaarallinen se tilanne kuitenkin olisi? He kaikki kuitenkin aidosti hengen vaarassa.
No kyllä näin voi varmasti sanoa. Että ihan pelkästään se, että nämä lapset heräsivät siihen tulipaloon, siihen savuhajuun ja tulipalon rätinään, niin kyllähän se on jo ollut yksistään niin kuin sattumanvarasta. Niin kyllä tässä ihan todelliset vaarat näiden kaikkien hengelle on ollut.
The Finnish police, however, has so far collected a moderate rating for its own actions, but it wouldn't be the Finnish police if it didn't act wrongly and put something wild in the criminal investigations. And what happens next regarding the criminal investigations of the Tammela fire, there will be a complete change in the police investigations and the case.
Tutkinnan aikana poliisille selvisi, että perheellä oli taloudellisia ongelmia.
Tämän tutkinnan aikana sitten käynnistettiin törkeästä kavalluksesta rikostutkinta, eli tuli ilmi epäilyjä, että tämä perheen äiti on ihan huomattavia summia kavaltanut rahaa näiltä lapsiltaan, joita lapset oli aikanaan saanut perinnön kautta. Ja tätä poliisi kyllä piti yhtenä motiivina tämän taloudellisen ahdingon peittely.
Äiti oli kavaltanut kaikilta 3 lapseltaan isovanhempien perintörahat yhteensä 330 000 euroa. Nainen siirsi rahoja omalle tililleen 4 vuoden ajan. Poliisitutkinnassa selvisi, että kotiäitinä ollut nainen oli tuhlannut rahoja täysin yli varojen. Kavallus tuli yllätyksenä koko muulle perheelle. Nainen tuomittiin tuhotyöstä ja 3 tapon yrityksestä 7 vuoden vankeuteen. Myöhemmin hänet tuomittiin vielä 3 törkeästä kavalluksesta.
In Tammela, a mother with a family ended up burning down her own house and trying to kill her own children. This with the help of fire, which tells the harsh truth about the happiest nation in the world, i.e. Finland, which is just fake news and bullshit published by YLE's propaganda machine, under which it is good to bury all the illegal activities of the Finnish state, from the extermination of problem citizens who are unprofitable to the state in medical care clinics and driving family mothers to desperate acts, if necessary even drugged by psychiatry, as if these citizens would be helped by the state, in order to protect the illegal cleansing of the people. Upon these activities, Finland has enacted laws to protect this illegal activities of the authorities in a country where the courts are a model of Nazi Germany, which only pronounces false judgments on the part of the citizens, which causes the maximum amount of public anger, all of which flows to enable the state's cleansing of the people. I myself have experience with these state laws on the part of the National Pension Institute, which has enacted laws on top of subsistence allowances that can be taken away from people's survival in society, which is modeled after Nazi Germany and the Jews, which is the reason for the width of the smile of the White King of the Coalition and little bit Waco Soli last Niinisto. The Tammela fire, where a mother was accused of stealing her children's inheritance, actually reveals how ruthless the Finnish authorities are. This family could not possibly survive in the happiest country in the world, which is as imaginary happiness as the medically non-existent and imaginary diseases of psychiatry, and with the help of these legacies this mother has tried to the last to keep her family in this life. And when the stupid group in Finland starts accusing this mother of this action, it actually exposes its own illegal and ruthless actions, which are apparently being tried to be covered up with these almost fabricated accusations, which commendably draws attention away from the Finnish authorities. The common factor behind the victims of these authorities is that the Finnish authorities have attacked these citizens, taking away from them the opportunity to live in Finland, which strongly follows the following pattern: isolation from society, withdrawal of supports. These combination of 1 and 2 results in a complete inability to survive in an expensive society. Method of operation. In the diagram, I have put in a box in cyan, which cases in Finland are close to the similarity of the Tammela fire, where the victim is another adult in the family. The names that are in cyan are cases where the authorities are strongly involved in influencing the cases so that these victims of official corruption would commit a crime under the influence of the authorities that would seem to be a lottery win for a bandit acting in the name of the Finnish state, led by Europe's new plague, the Black Death of problem citizens, the White King of the Coalition and little bit Waco Soli the two-faced Niinisto. The photographers' cases are all cases where the Finnish state authorities are involved in one way or another and are therefore on my criminal investigation desks. If you look at my criminal records, where this kind of behavior originated and appears for the first time, is in the fake kidnapping of Minna Nurminen of the Cone Elevator family of Antti-Paapa Hölin, where Juha Turunen had drifted into a personal crisis and debt imprisonment. Since it is a fake kidnapping orchestrated by the Cone Elevator family, Juha Turunen's personal plight and debt imprisonment is part of this sick family's own plan to turn their eyes to Juha Turunen, who operates with Cone Elevator money, and who takes the blame for this kidnapping project, which otherwise cannot be carried out by one man's efforts, not by anything. With this action, Minna Nurminen's strongest alibi in the world has been bought for her future crimes, which are strongly focused on the human rat business of medicine, which seems to be the new territorial conquest of the Cone Elevator family when you look at Minna Nurminen's mother, Hanna Nurminen, who advertises to the people through her own media her own medically non-existent and imaginary electrical hypersensitivity, which she has blessed with the word of electrical engineers from Turku, which tells us what kind of illegal activity is practiced in Turku at the expense of science and what interests this Cone Elevator family above all. Minna Nurminen's fake kidnapping, which has clearly been a win-win situation for both the Cone Elevator family and the Finnish authorities, where Minna Nurminen gets the world's strongest alibi for her own future crimes against humanity and others when she is playing Batman in Finland at the legal level with Papa Herlin's Cone Elevator money and foundations, apparently preying on these problem citizens unprofitable to the state to human rat farms managed by the University of Turku, which is the new territorial conquest of Papa Herlin and his ideological and genetic descendants. But these problematic citizens of Finland, they have now something that cannot be bought or bribed with Papa Herlin's Cone Elevator money, something that you cannot ignore with your own Sonoma media house, something that has solved the world's biggest mysteries like who shot Martin Luther King Jr. and where is the murderer of Jukka S. Lahti. Finnish national treasure and war hero of corruption who eats conspiracy theories like breakfast and arouses cold shivers in the village rallies of the blue team of stupids has left the big and mighty Olli Isotalo without an alibi, and the white king of the coalition Sauli the last Niinisto without a blue clothes has now stepped on the side of these problematic citizens of Finland and others who have been run over by the corruption of the US, which reached the Finnish borders when Finland bought F-18 fighter jets from the US. The Finnish state, which has apparently appropriated this desperate behavior model into its own operating models, which of course cannot be investigated by an ordinary citizen, because they do not have official powers, and which it applies in its own projects when it attacks these family mothers, for which Juha Turunen served as a precedent in the Finnish courts. The background of this activity may be a purely authority-oriented signal, but their motives work more with problem citizens who are not profitable for the state. But Tammela's family had a horse business and the family included 3 children, leaving a big question mark purely on the state authorities' desire to destroy this family, and the motives clearly point to the business world, but the connection is difficult to prove 100%, but I'll go through them next. Finnish business world and Hult. The former Road Velho and the current Hult and its 4 wise managers who shared their troublesome judgments in my former life as a mechanical designer, tells what kind of winds are blowing in the business world led by Cone Elevator media mogul Antti-Papa Herlin. When the former managers of Road Velho and the current Hult company, Mika Kiljala, Tomi Mannerjoki, Niko Koselainen and Ari Ratainen, smoke me out of the company with threats about harassing me, which unfortunately has come true by Sweco's Henry Necht and Kohas Taru Latinmäki. This proves that there are unwritten rules in the Finnish business world, which definitely includes the financial destruction of others, which is represented by the threats shared on my side, which has led to unemployment and financial distress for my part. However, I have not had a debt like the mother accused of the fire in Tammela, so I have never been directly driven into such a desperate situation that I should think about suicide, which seems to be one part of the murder policy of the White King of the Coalition and little bit Waco Sauli the last Niinisto, which distributes these suicide sentences as well as others, where the word death is included, such as sending Tuomas Trisvuori to Uganda with Suvi Linden, who was online shopping for murders from Ugandan state pirates, with the help of a misleading commission from arms manufacturer Patria. It is clear that the managers of the former Road Velho and the current Hult engineering office could not guess the value of their threats in today's Finnish crime journalist Hannula's vocabulary when it investigates the death sentences handed out in the business world and other illegal actions that Hult managers do behind the beautiful advertising speeches on the front pages, which are not wanted for public discussion. But the introduction is over, and now to the point. Tomi Mannerjoki, who is one of the owners of the former Road Velho and the current Hult engineering office, is involved in these horse stable jobs with family power, which of course arouses my interest. Has he gone to distribute these troublesome judgments on the existence of others besides me, like this woman from Tammela, who also worked as an entrepreneur in this horse stable industry. Even if Tommy Manurjoki was not behind this Tammela horse entrepreneur's financial distress, this business world is in first place as far as suspects are concerned, because Manurjoki, together with Ratainen and Koselainen, has spread these inconvenient judgments on my normal life, which has caused a big dent in my financial life, even such that I have too hard to get a job in a working life that is 100% controlled by media mogul Antti-Paapa Herlin of Cone Elevators and whose elevator company, Cone Elevators subcontractor company, Manurjoki's current hold company is. The way the Finnish legal system seems to work is that it has outsourced sentencing away from the courts, and then the kingpins of the business world are responsible for sentencing, such as Paapa Herlin of Cone Elevators and hold company directors, who distribute their isolation from working life for at least trivial, maybe even moral mistakes that should perhaps be fined, etc. And as I told earlier about the Trisvuori case, which received a death sentence behind the corporate world's public pages, which was put into practice with the help of the arms manufacturer Patria, and which was poisoned in Uganda by ex-minister Suvi Linden, in cooperation with Ugandan pirates, tells what kind of laws are in use in the Finnish business world. Faced with this activity, it is quite justified to say that this fake kidnapped relative of Cone Elevator media mogul Antti-Paapa Herlin is playing some sort of Batman in Finland because Cone Elevator money has bought her the world's strongest alibi for her future crimes. Police criminal investigation. The police criminal investigations were progressing fairly well from the Finnish police, and I had nothing to say until the Finnish police pulled out their own trump cards, i.e. their dirty Nazi German operating methods, which always reveal the actions of the Finnish police, honed by Jyrianio's drug dealing from the police headquarters and the criminal investigations led by Kari Tolvanen, with the help of which the police's own crime scene vacuum cleaner, Juha Rautaimo, is supporting. Organized crime. When the Finnish police accuse the mother of the family of embezzling her children's money, with which she has tried in my eyes to keep the family finances afloat, the only help the Finnish state would have offered was psychiatry's new conversion drugs, which are behind all the school deaths and baby deaths in Finland, under the influence of which mothers in families drown their own children in bathtubs. The money that this family has had will also be left to these children as an inheritance, if this mother had not finally decided to burn down her family home in this predicament. So accusing these minor children of embezzling money is, to say the least, the height of outrageousness from the Finnish police, who in one way or another are behind all these cases leaked to the media and which I have collected in a table, on the basis of which it can already be said that even statistically, the police have been involved in this Tammela fire in some way. What makes the Tammela fire extremely suspicious is that the Finnish police were already accusing this mother on the same day that the house burned for this fire, which is far too effective action by the Finnish police when compared to previous investigations, which clearly says that this woman could very well have been the Finnish police staging rings, the purpose of which was to drive this woman to this desperate act, just like the perpetrators of the mass murder in Helsinki, and there is no need to investigate this case for more than one day. But what is strange about this Finnish business life is that people close to high positions such as Tuomas Trisvuori and Eva-Kaisa Nicola die in extremely suspicious circumstances, for God's sake. The arms of the Finnish authorities, like the police or like the case Trisvuori in coalition ex-minister Suvi Linden, whose deaths the Finnish police and medical care together with the health and welfare institution Sirkagbala bury on the side of accidents. And when I research problem citizens cases in Finland, I bump into the industries of my former employer Roadvelho and the current hold company managers to which they are connected through a small bend, such as this horse entrepreneur from Tammela, who is Tommy Manurjoki's leisure hobby, which in Finland is so small that everyone knows each other there, and the Jylväiska church arsonist, where Mika Kiljaala's wife Marika Kiljaala works. This ring run of the Finnish police seems to work very close circle with business world, whose crimes this region rejects even in clear cases, where the corporate world has handed out death sentences that are put into practice if necessary, for example in Uganda with the help of the arms manufacturer Patria. The police and the Finnish state authorities clearly operate above the law, from which they control who is allowed to live in Finland and whose lives are destroyed, which are cases that are difficult to investigate, because even I do not have the authority to investigate all cases with the necessary rights, and many of the disadvantaged citizens faced with these situations are completely relying on the word and trust of the Finnish authorities, who nevertheless lie, murder their remand prisoners in their own prisons and run the drug trade from their own headquarters. Fake news. How the Finnish authorities operate at the grassroots level, where are the citizens, who have been cut off from all links to impartial and fair official procedures and to the media, which is led on the private side by the media mogul of Cone Elevators Antti-Paapa Herlin, and on the other side by the White King of the Coalition and a little bit Waco Sawley, the two-faced Niinisto of YLE, through its propaganda machinery, which spreads state propaganda with the help of fake news so much to the Finnish people that it is not difficult for me to count those where there would be no coalition propaganda on, and for example of the propaganda on hot topics of the day such as mental health problems and the war in Ukraine, not to mention that our new Interior Minister Mari Rantanen praises the Finnish police, who can be his justified by its position, because this Finnish militia blesses all the crimes of the decision makers in the eyes of the people and leads and stages citizens who are unprofitable by the state to the closed institutions of the state or to the grave prematurely. The case of Jouni Kaupila is a good example, where the news has been published about Kaupila, where he has lost a custody dispute in the courts, after which he burned Jylväiska church in revenge for all these unfair actions that were directed at him in the courts, and this same thing has also been seen in the case of Kaupila, who was baptized on the occasion by the priest. It is clear to me that Kaupila has been provoked to these actions by some residents of Jylväiska, who hold an official position for their work, from which they share the right of their own hand with I feel like feeling, and which activities are the activities protected by the White King of the Coalition and little bit Waco Sawley, the two-faced Niinisto. The war in Ukraine, of course, with which he and his ideological descendants drain the state coffers into their own tax haven companies. Mental health problems, under which all the illegal actions of the authorities with Kaupila can be put, because the people automatically associate them with school deaths and plane crashes, which are all the actions of the authorities where the victims of psychiatry are drugged and provoked into actions.
No ensinnä täytyy kiittää sitä, että suomalainen poliisi on ihan tavattoman tehokas ja hyvä tutkinnassa. No ensinnä täytyy kiittää sitä, että suomalainen poliisi on ihan tavattoman tehokas ja hyvä tutkinnassa. No ensinnä täytyy kiittää sitä, että suomalainen poliisi on ihan tavattoman tehokas ja hyvä tutkinnassa. No ensinnä täytyy kiittää sitä, että suomalainen poliisi on ihan tavattoman tehokas ja hyvä tutkinnassa. No ensinnä täytyy kiittää sitä, että suomalainen poliisi on ihan tavattoman tehokas ja hyvä tutkinnassa. No ensinnä täytyy kiittää sitä, että suomalainen poliisi on ihan tavattoman tehokas ja hyvä tutkinnassa. No ensinnä täytyy kiittää sitä, että suomalainen poliisi on ihan tavattoman tehokas ja hyvä tutkinnassa. No ensinnä täytyy kiittää sitä, että suomalainen poliisi on ihan tavattoman tehokas ja hyvä tutkinnassa.
And as you can see how the Finnish authorities act arbitrarily with the laws, they present them as accidents in front of the people, just like the medical care that spreads its hands with the patients it has murdered, who have been shown as accidents in front of the people.